All right, welcome back. In the last episode, what we did is we were at the shop and we were able to sell our items. And before we get to the part where we can buy the items, I thought we should clean up some stuff. So, when I was trying to do the items last time, I thought that it was kind of cumbersome. And I feel like we could do the items a way better way, especially if you have more items than I have. Because I have a lot of items, but you might have way more in your game. So, we should fix our items. In the way that they register. For instance, what I mean is the current weight function. What we have right now is a current weight function that looks like this. It has all the items in here. But what we need to do is we need to create another function called get all items. And so we'll just press plus sign and create a function called get all items. And on your return node over here, where it says outputs, you can click on either one, but where it says outputs, add outputs and add all your items as outputs. And then drag your variables from your items one by one and plug them in. So this way, whenever we add a new item, all we have to do is add it to this function. It's called get all items. So it's going to get all of our items that we have as a character. All right, now, once you have that, we need to go back to our current weight function. And here, instead of all of this right here, we just need to start deleting the inputs. There should be 0 inputs all the way till you get down to the point where it looks like this. What you want to do is drag off of here and just say get all items. Plug that in here. And then now all you have to do is just plug in each one of the items to where it's supposed to be. So if you don't know where it's supposed to be, follow it over here. So this one is saying cooked meat. So we'll follow cooked meat times, there you go. Just put it in the multiplication slot. That's what we need to put everything into, the multiplication slot. Because if it's in the multiplication slot, it should do exactly what it needs to do to get us to the end. Also, we need to make sure that the output is there as well. So the output should be total weight. That's the one we had in our old one. So make an output, and it should be called total weight. And it's an integer. There it goes. And then all you got to do is take this plus right here and plug it in. Boop. Now that's going to give us the total weight as an output. And everything will be input. So just make sure you do that. I'm going to do mine real quick. All right, that looks good. Now all we have to do is replace all of that current weight function, which it's going to pop up on yours as red. Like some things are not going to work. Like here's one right here. Current weight function is not coming out right. So what we have to do is here, go here, and we can actually just replace this whole current weight function. So we won't have to do this for all the places where it was. Current weight function, get the total weight. From here, in theory, it should be able to just get the current weight function. Because if we set the stone knives as this, it's -1, it's -1, it's going to get stone knives, whatever it may be at that point. And then it's going to do the weight. So that's right. So let's just go through and replace all the places where that current weight function is. And again, you'll be able to find it because it'll be lit up red. So right up here, see current weight function, it's all complicated. We don't need the current weight function to be that complicated. So just do this, delete it, and then run it again. See, after rocks are set, then it'll run the current weight function, and then it'll set the weight to the total weight. We have to make sure that the weight was set down here too. Oh, we did it. Cool. Let's compile and save. See if there's another error. All right, there is. Let's find it again, and it's going to be this time over here in the stone knife. So, just like this, all of this could get deleted. Oh, wait, where was that coming off of? Sorry. It was coming off of both of them. So right here and right here. So then delete that and we'll just drag out current weight function again, plug it here, there, and there. Compile and save. Let's find another place where it's messed up at. Stone axe. Whoop. Delete. I'm guessing it was plugged up to both of those as well. So current weight function, bop, bop, boom, bang. This will make it so much cleaner, as you see. It just runs all this right here. Anytime you want to update the weight, now all you have to do is update it here and just, like we've been doing, but at least it'll make it cleaner when we're adding it to everything. Let's compile and save. And it looks like in the third person character, we've handled every one of those instances. So now what we need to do is go through all of the rest of our blueprints and see if there's any other current weight that we need to change and replace. Maybe in the HUD. Yeah, in the HUD. There we go. There's a whole bunch of aired out in the HUD. All of them. So you'd have to go through and fix your HUD because the current weight function is aired out all throughout the HUD. I'm going to do mine off the screen and we'll come back. All right, so now I've got my whole items HUD set to that. I probably need to go to my crafting HUD and do the same. But let's look at the end of this, the cell. So last time we were doing the cell, and if you look at the end, there's something missing from at least the weapons. So each one of the weapons that you sell, like the stone knife and the stone axe, if it's less than or equal to 0, then you need to set stone or has stone knife to false or has stone axe to false. Same with torches or anything that's a weapon, because that's very important. And as we come across stuff, if we do come across stuff in the future, we'll fix it as we go along. But that's the first thing I wanted to do, so that's knocked off. So the next thing that I wanted to do is drain health. All right, cool. One thing that we didn't do is we didn't drain the health. So before we move on to the next episode, we need to go into some of our functions over here in our third person character. So there's drain hunger, drain thirst. We need a new function here called drain health. And what you could do is just copy and paste or just duplicate your drain hunger, and we're going to call it drain health. Now this, instead of hunger here, it's not going to decrement the hunger. So you can actually delete that. What you need to do is get the health. And its health is right here. And drag off of health and say decrement. Decrement integer. Plug that into this branch here. And then plug this into the condition. So if this is less than or equal to 0, then set the health to 0. So where's the health at again? Health. Set health to 0. And when health is 0, it should trigger our dead event. Which we can look at and make sure that happens. So we don't have that. So what we need to do is make a custom event. Custom event. And we're going to call it dead event. So the dead event actually would be up here. It's right here when they set dead to true. So set dead to true, bet. All right, so now that we've got that, what we can do is go into our function we were just working on, drain health, and if the health, set health to 0 and then do dead event. Okay, bet. Now we needed one that will stop the draining of the health. So let's duplicate that one and say stop drain. Or stop drain of health, or stop drain health. All right, cool. And we're just going to get the health wherever it's at and set the health. Then you can run it through its checks as well. So if the health is less than or equal to 0, blah, 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 do your dead event. All right. Now we're good. We're good. Drain health. So, we didn't do something. What we didn't do is we didn't drain the health. So go back to your third person character. And where we need this to come into play is drain hunger, right? Drain hunger. If hunger is less than or equal to 0, set hunger to 0 and drain health. Okay, cool. Let's go back to thirst as well. Set thirst to 0 and drain health. So now when your thirst or your hunger gets to 0, your health is going to start ticking back down. Let's see, anything that will make your health go back up, such as like we're going to call the stop drain. So when you eat food, drink water, we're going to call stop drain health. But that will be when we get to it. When I click out here, it says I have a whole bunch of errors. So what are these errors? Palm tree is one of them. So let's open up the palm tree. And here's the error. It has a get, it has a wait function. Let's delete all of that and just do the current wait function from the third person character. Bop. Now that the palm leaves are set, do that, do this, and do this. Bet. Let's see what else is not working. The torches over here. Let's click on those, open it in the blueprint. Oh, it has a current wait function. So let's delete this. Stone knives, set torches, and then do a current wait function. All right, bet. Okay, that's good. Now there should be nothing in the game that's like messed up anymore. Everything looks good to go. The axe. Uh-oh. Current wait function right here is not going to work in the axe. Let's fix that. Where was that coming from? All right. All right, the stone axe is fixed. I wonder if there's anything else in the whole game. Cool. Well, now we've just made a lot of tweaks in the game. I'm sure we're gonna have another episode like this, not next. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. The last part about this episode, before I ended, I said, let's do the haircut. So we fixed everything else. We can test it out, you know what I'm saying? But I know it works. I've tested it out before this. But let's fix our errors though. So the stone knife, here's some more. Bop. Okay. And where are we at? Stone. What was the other one? Treetop. Let's fix that one. Right here. Woo, that's ugly. I'm glad we fixed that because this was gonna be ugly. All right, so get your current wait function from here. There we go. All right, bet. Compile and save. There. Now, if we press play from here, no problem. No problem. Here's the barbershop that I made. I'm not finished with it yet, but you should be able to walk into here, press E. Shit, you probably can't hear me over that loud ass music. You should be able to walk into the barbershop, press E in front of the chair, and get a haircut. Now, are we going to make him sitting down and all that stuff? No, not right now. In the next episode, maybe after we do the buying from the store, yeah. But right now, let's just make it so that he walks over here, he presses E, and he can get a haircut. So blueprints. Let's make a new blueprint class, and we're going to call it actor, and we're going to call it haircut _ BP. Now this haircut, it needs to be a box collision or sphere, whatever your preference is. But let's extend the bounds on the X and the Y a bit. Compile and save. After you add your box collision to this, go to the event. Here in the class settings, at the top, we need to add our interface. So add interaction interface. All right, compile and save. And in the right, in the blueprint, just right, or in the event graph, right click and say interact. And make sure you get the event interact. And what we want to happen is the haircut to happen. So for our third person character, I'll show you how to make his haircut happen very fast. Let's go to the event graph. I've made this already. So here's the code. All you have to do is get a letter here, which in our case, we'll delete the letter. We're just going to do a custom event. Custom event haircut. Now, when you call that event, all it's going to do is set the material to a new material. So I made a new material, which is just a material that is translucent, and the translucence is set to 0. So we're going to set his hair right here to 0. So I think that's element, for me, that'll be element 13. Yep. So I'll just change the material of that to 0. So when we walk into that blueprint, the haircut blueprint, when we press interact, we're just going to cast the third person character, get player character, and we're going to say haircut. Boom. Now you can cut your hair. And I told you that's where we're going to end the episode. This one was longer than I thought it was going to be. But let's test out the haircut just to make sure it works. I'll put that right there. All right, and we're going to walk into it. All right. Now I have a haircut. So you could do the same thing with his beard and his music. You could do that's nice. Now he has a haircut. You could do the same thing with his beard and his mustache if you wish to. But I've knocked down all the things I wanted to get done this video. If your game is not working correctly because you changed that function, just let me know. Maybe you just missed a step. Maybe you need to go back and watch the video one more time, or go back and replace all your different blueprints. But that's all I wanted to show you guys this episode. In the next episode, we will buy items from the shop. So hope you learned something. I'll holla at you on the next one. Peace.
Run to the money, on my feet, don't fail. The DA and the judge, wanna do their best to jail. I done heard it all.